Hey, it's a FinTech Newscast. My name's John, and with me, as always, is Steve. Welcome.
Can't get rid of me. What's going on, John?
I keep trying, but well, to make up for that, everybody, we also have an awesome guest with us, Alina Sysoeva, the head of PR at Drofa Comms. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, John. Hi, Steve. Thanks for having me on today's episode.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us all the way from the UK, but you sound like you're just right next door.
Hope so.
Yeah, yeah. She's the next screen over. That's all. Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll get into that, but we'll start with our news story for the week. Mercury, the fintech focused on banking for startups and small businesses, which we have heard of before with Brex and others, is proud to announce they have $5.2 billion valuation, which, okay, it's no SpaceX. It's not OpenAI. It's not a Anthropic, but it's pretty good for a banking fintech, which have not done so great in terms of profitability and being a real competitor to the incumbent banks. So we're happy to see a bank based in our home of San Francisco doing well and becoming a multi-unicorn. Any first takes, Steve?
Just today, it's interesting. It's refreshing to hear of a company raising funds at a high valuation and a company also getting traction that is not just AI. I feel like fintech kind of went through a
Uh,
drought in the past 5 years or so. But yeah, a multi-billion-dollar valuation for fintech, especially in that space, which is so competitive, and with sort of a lot of headwinds in the space in banking with interest rates and all that. It's again pretty interesting.
You know they're doing well because they're going to go after their banking license with the OCC, which means they can join Zelle, they can have access to more products, they can do. They don't have to pay their partner banks anymore, which we kind of talk about as kind of eating into their margins. They've raised $200 million, so maybe they want to hire some podcasters,
Maybe they
for a
do.
good
Yeah,
price.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Call me,
and
call
I'm
me.
sure. Yeah, Steve Perez, by the way. Yes, yeah. And maybe they probably would have hit a $10 billion valuation if they had Drofa Comms working on their side, right, Alina?
Yeah, I think that maybe they can have this much more earlier than just this month.
Yeah, yeah. That's the confidence we like to see. But yeah, this is kind of like bucking the trend a little bit, like you were mentioning, Steve, on fintech funding and valuations, especially like you said, for the non-AI part of the world. But maybe there was a little bit of a hole in the market with Silicon Valley Bank getting taken out, First Republic Bank. Chime has been doing well, but still not profitable. So that's kind of a key thing we don't see too much in the basic banking side of the world, which actually we don't have too many guests on that side because it's just a tough area, and so it's surprising and glad to see Mercury doing so well.
Yeah. It is, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So hopefully we'll keep seeing the VC money going up. It was up. Let me see. Checking notes. 29% increase in VC-backed funding from 24 to 25, and up 6% more in 2026. Good for business. More clients with money is a good thing, right, Alina?
Yeah, quite good. Yeah, and they quite often just enter to our industry and asked for some strategic communications related to attractiveness for investors and their partners. So we try to help them with this also.
I'm, I'm glad to see no one's thinking of the consumers.
Huh?
So is this kind of like an ideal candidate when they start doing well, they're getting the funding round, or are they coming to you? I've been wanting to ask a PR person this question. Do people come to you, when they really should to prepare the way, or do they come to you after something bad has happened or the
You kind of
investors
like
are
see,
forcing them because they're
yeah.
going to do a funding round or something like that?
Quite often it depends from company to company, and we really like this type of clients who understand what PR is and why it's not marketing, and why your publication, for example, on Forbes will not give you some number of leads, how they usually ask us. Or when we ask them a question, why do you want to be covered and to be like on the title of Forbes, they usually say, because my mom likes this magazine, that's it.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Very
we
strategic.
very, very. So yeah, and we quite often see clients who um, doesn't understand what's going on at all. So they they are not prepared for any crisis situation, or they are not prepared for launching on the market, and they quite often try to get to us and ask for the strategy, how they can be, for example, the top, I don't know, payment processors in Latam market or payment processors in American market, etc. And we always try to develop them the strategy which will work best for them, for the investors, for the partners, for the clients. So depends on the request which they have. But yeah, I guess 50 to 50% usually. The requests are very different, and quite often we also have the situations where, for example, DeFi project just came to us, and then after 200 million liquidations on the platform, and say, please help, please
Oh,
help to control this communication with us.
it sounds like a fintech newscast kind of customer,
Yeah,
client.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. We dream of losing 200 million viewers one day. That would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This raises a question for me, which is, as we know, crypto and the whole Web3 space moves so quickly. How do you devise PR strategies in a way that can keep up with the market, which is, again, it's so fast moving? It seems like, there's new things being announced. There could be liquidations, what used to be called a run on a bank and all that. So how do you handle PR in a way that's moving at the pace of crypto and Web3?
I think that the first crucial point is to be flexible for the companies and businesses which are going, for example, to launch the new product or to enter the new market, because we have a series of cases when companies, they, for example, plan to launch their product in June, and then some events occurs on the market, and then they have to postpone the product launch, but then they just want not to mention this story at all during their communications. Their founder just not mention that they will postpone, for example, the product. And that's the key mistake, because during this period of time when the market is when the market is volatile, they decided to keep silent and not to speak to their audience, and they are not open with their audience. I guess that's the key principle which we try to use and to educate our clients and companies from fintech and crypto spaces, because it's okay to say that we have to postpone the launch. We can focus on something positive for them, on the new narratives related to the product launch, how it will solve their challenges, how it will help their users to overcome some difficulties. So it's okay to be not just on the plan, and it's okay when something just can go not as you planned before, specifically for fintech and crypto companies also.
Interesting. And you
Um,
you work with we mentioned with crypto, with Web3, but I think you also work at trading platforms with fintechs. Which of those customer segments do you think is the most challenging to work with, if you were to pick
I
one?
guess that, yeah, I guess
We
that the
want to hear
most
some
challenging.
names.
Yeah. Well,
No
really?
names, sorry. It's like the free advertising for them. So
Yeah.
no names.
Ah,
So
Okay.
yeah, I guess if we speak about the most challenging segment, it will definitely be DeFi space and some payment processor sectors, because these, sorry for my words, these guys are quite often
these dudes,
don't
yeah.
understand. Yeah, they don't understand how the crisis work, how they should communicate with their audience. And we quite often have cases when founders of, for example, DeFi companies, they post on their X accounts some messages, and then they get to us in the chat and mention, oops, I used liquidation word in my posts, and that's why we have like the new negative crisis for all company, where the Bloomberg covered the story related to liquidation topics. And in this period of time, I usually say to them that maybe you should just write before publishing the news, before
Yeah.
publishing the post, and to think what words and key messages you should use during the communications.
Yeah.
So that's it.
It's interesting because the space is also littered with all these, complex sounding words like, DeFi and staking and whatever and fiat currency. So do you find that you have to sort of translate what they're saying into normal language that most people can understand? Or is your audience mostly technically versed in this space enough that you can just speak in their own language? Like how do you approach the language that you use in your PR and in your comms in such a complex space?
Yeah, we have a very structured onboarding for our clients because we've been present on the market for 15 years and we always try to deep dive into all the products and all the launches about which our clients usually provide us with. But sometimes it's quite difficult and we try to understand by ourselves at first what's going on, what is the product about. And then we have a series of different calls with our clients, with their product teams, and they usually share with us the information, what's the advantages, why better from and differ from the competitors' product and launches in the next period of time. And then we use their narratives, which they provided to us, but we always adapt them to different type of audience because sometimes, for example, DeFi guys, they can just mention the product is okay. It's complex, so that's it. Or, for example, we also have like the small case recently during Ethereum CC conference in Cannes when some of our clients they presented the new product at the venue, and he prepared the presentation by himself, where he just put graphs on the slides and different formulas without any descriptions what is it about, so it was difficult to manage afterwards. So yeah, I think that it's quite crucial to educate also the audience we work with because clients quite often they are very tech guys and they understand what's going on, but not the final user and the audience which we always orient our communications to.
Yeah. So getting that basic structuring and okay, let's just say it, common sense into some of this. But this sounds, Steve and I have worked with tech people, and we're both near Silicon Valley here. That's kind of what I expected you to have encountered. People are just so focused on the technical aspects and our technical founders, which is really favored by the VC investors. They really want to see those tech CEOs come in. Is it just
But
do you advise them to maybe have like someone like their right hand person that knows how to handle people, knows how to communicate, articulate well?
Mhm.
Sort of like I guess the big example I guess in Silicon Valley would be like the Sheryl Sandberg
Yeah.
to that other guy. What's his name?
The other
Over at Meta. Yeah.
Zuck?
That kind of thing. Does that do you see that sometimes? They have that or they need that kind of help?
Even if they don't have the right people who can communicate with us, for example, or who can share any information related to what's going on in the company, we always try to suggest them to have these people on site. So we always have the working group related to the client and from our side also. So it consists quite often with marketing directors or, for example, financial consultants from the client's perspectives, also legal team and C-level representatives, because I'm sure that when, for example, any crisis situation it occurs on the market, the key reason why the crisis is usually negative and have such a huge amount of negative publications to brands, to personal or companies' brand, because they are not prepared for the crisis at all. So
Mhm.
they don't have the anti-crisis working group, for example, which can be also, these people can also be included in this group, and we can just talk to each other and then synchronize with the details what we should tell to the audience, what we shouldn't, etc. So when clients have these working groups, it much more better to work with them, to control all their communications, to have the on-time plan, what we will announce in June, July, August, etc. Because sometimes we had the situations when our clients just get back to us and they just mention tomorrow we will have the huge launch of the new, I don't know, crypto card. And we
Yeah.
need like the exclusive on TechCrunch or the media like this. But the real site to work with TechCrunch, you need 1 month or 1.5 months just to pitch the journalist this news. But we need this to be published tomorrow. So that's it.
So, I'm curious because, I go through, things like TechCrunch and all the other trade publications here in NSF, and I'm curious, how do you build that relationship with a journalist, and what would you say is the connection between PR and tech journalism specifically? Like, is it a matter of cultivating things over years and years and years, or how do you sort of approach placing a client in front of either TechCrunch or some other, technical publication?
I can tell that tech media, they're very specific because they like to have like the loyal communications with PR managers. They like to be met in different events in person at first. Only after this, they will read your emails and answer your emails and your pitches. So it's
Right.
like the first type of journalist. But we quite often work with different media outlets and different journalists where, for example, we can reach out to them for the first time, suggesting them some commentary on the market, and on the same day they will publish the story. It's like just the best option ever. And the second can also be related when we have like the strategic communications with them. So we have like the plan, how often should we pitch this news to the journalist, what he will be interested in. Quite often we try to organize the calls with them where we do intros and just try to figure out what they are interested in to cover in the next period of time, how we can be useful for them. So that's it.
I bet they're happy to work with you because you guys versus maybe the company or like you were saying, they might not speak the same language as
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
that's true.
journalist or know what's going to be interesting or what's not. They might pitch the wrong kind of thing. Whereas they're talking with you, Alina, I mean you, is you're going to be able to communicate, translate, know what they're all about beforehand. So that makes a lot of sense.
We
So
even
what
quite often have situations when journalists and media outlets, they use the incorrect name of the company. So it can be like the
uh,
two companies with the same name and they link and use the positioning with the other company, but they have the call with the other one
Oh,
previously. So you should control everything which is published on the media outlets afterwards.
Yeah, sanity check at
Yeah.
least. So when you first talk to a client, what is the most common misconception, or what do you wish everybody knew already when they come to talk to you for the first time? And from now on, after this podcast, they will know because they will have seen this.
Yeah, it's like the practical advice. We always try to educate and, first of all, share with our clients the information that they should know their business aim. So, what they want to get after they will work with the PR agency or will do any public strategic crisis comms, etc. Because quite often we face the situations when the clients they don't understand what they want, so they don't understand how they want to be positioned in different type of media outlets. What narratives do they have? We can help and craft these narratives for them, but it's very difficult to do when it's not related to the business aim of the company and of the client, because we understand why companies usually like marketing more than PR, because marketing is related to sales and it helps to attract clients, etc. But PR also can work on your business aims. So during crisis period of time, during different launches, so it helps you to be to control the situation, what's going on around your brand, around your company, and it's very difficult to control the situation when you don't understand what's your aim, what we should control.
So for not for me, but for people, some people listening,
other
what's the
people, other
difference
people.
between other people? For Steve, I mean, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, it's for Steve. What's the difference between PR and marketing?
Oh, it's so frequently asked question.
Yep.
I guess that first it's
And we
not
still don't
related
know.
to. I think that it's first not related to sales as it is as it usually works with marketing. But
Hmm.
I guess that the key difference of PR and marketing is that PR works on the reputation of your company, on your image, and on your personal brand. Marketing usually quite often related to the networking around clients, partners, and users. So it's not just the comprehensive way of how you approach to the company. And PR do this approach while working with clients and companies. And also, I can share with you some recent trend on the market that now we can see a lot of different media outlets and different marketing agencies which spread the information about and suggest their client just, for example, the package of 10 or 20 sponsored articles related to the company, and they
Hmm.
publish this news like sponsored ones, and then clients don't want to do like the earned and the classical PR because they understand that it's much more longer usually to get the publication on TechCrunch, for example, pitched one when the journalist like decided to write about your story. He chose your company to write the story about. So it usually takes time, and quite often, so it's awful trend to tell the truth. So companies like to have the big and to have quick results, publishing the news about their product, and it's awful because it's not about PR. And it's not about PR at all. It's about marketing, and PR is about value. How to create value that your company is valuable, that your company can be heard, that you can hurt the correct audience, the relevant audience which you are oriented in. So marketing will never give you the same approach while communicating with your audience.
Is there any way you could save Steve's reputation? That's
No,
is that even possible?
that's a simple answer. It's just
Okay.
a plain no.
Well, you guys work all over the world. How important is it to know like the local markets in each place? Things will hit different, or you're targeting a different. Just things work different in each country. How much do you have to have on the ground expertise, somebody there, or how much can you rely on like an overall approach?
Yeah, if we speak about different markets, it's quite famous request from our clients. So they like to enter new markets while working with us, so they can start entering the European market. Then they got a license and then decided to move to American one. So we usually have like the team members who work on the global side, so Europe, America, for example, Asia, and Latam market. And also we have like the sectoral representatives who lives in these cities, countries elsewhere, because it's crucial when you would like to, for example, organize event for a client or support him during some offline activities. It's crucial to have the person who is based there, who can meet with the journalist, who can meet with clients' partners, for example, who can support them during events, to do press approaches with journalists, etc. And we, during our experience, we also noticed that local people and local PR managers, they use less time pitching journalists the news than, for example, me sitting in London, pitching the Latam journalist and asking him for publication of our client, because I might don't know, for example, the experience of this journalist, how he usually work, where he drinks
Right.
coffee, for example, in the morning. So that's crucial to have local representatives, because it will give you like the advantage that you deeply understand what's going on in the market, which you are oriented on.
Hmm.
But a lot of clients are in London, of course, is a great area for fintech. Uh,
Yeah.
so after London, where are most of your clients?
To tell the truth, most of our clients, they are even not in London. They are in America, first of all, because most of media outlets and most of investors and recent news around Clarity Act, they will give
Yeah,
them the
we just talked
opportunity
about
to
that.
be, in the previous episode, I noticed. Yes, and in America, and also we see the huge demand from Asian market because of different events which are now held there related to tech, fintech, AI. So I guess America, Europe, and then Asia.
Huh.
So this is top three. Yeah.
I guess the question that we ask whenever somebody comes on, which is the question of the day, is we've seen how AI is transforming everything. How do you maintain that balance between having sort of a more human touch with what you do versus just relying on AI to build a whole PR campaign that could be multi-language and customized to the one specific country or region?
Alina is an
Uh,
AI agent, by the way. It's in her name.
it's not me. It's
Artificial
AI avatar. Yeah,
language
that's it.
intelligence neural agent.
Yeah. To tell the truth, I think that AI already transformed every sector on the market. I don't know, financial, PR, legal, so every. Because just 1 week ago, I had the series of requests from potential clients, and they asked not to do PR, but just to work with LLMs. So they would like to be included in AI search without PR. I asked the question why, because it's like the one point related to another one, because if you have PR, you will be included in LLM systems. But they mentioned that they are not interested in classical instruments. They would like to be like the FOMO of AI. They would like to invest in AI, and they have the budget to invest in AI direction, etc. So it very transformed our work. So we have to educate our clients to work with AI for now, also not just about PR.
Yeah.
And also we have like I guess the small crisis on the market now, because many media outlets, I think that you might heard also for specifically for crypto ones, they are just closing, unfortunately, because they have the series of layoffs related to AI, and they do different news digests related to AI. So no need for editors, journalists, as the editorial team mentioned. So we also have to adapt to this one, and we try to not to use AI while crafting content for our clients, because we understand that each media outlet, it usually has its own AI checker, and if the PR manager use AI while pitching or sharing the press release, we're usually banned from by media outlets and journalists. So that's it.
Wow. I had
Oh.
no idea. Interesting. So I guess the flip side of that is that maybe like 3 days ago or so, I saw a headline that some guy, I think from a company called Blocked, but not the Jack Dorsey one. He mentioned that he fired his entire HR team because AI could replace it, and quote unquote problems would go away. I know they're a customer of yours. So yeah, it's a good, really good. Yeah, fire HR, no problems. But I'm curious: have you seen a recent PR fumble that you thought, man, they really could have fixed it if they'd done X, Y, Z? Is there anything that you would have done differently from a company that you think underwent some sort of PR issue?
I quite often I can maybe share with you the example of Revolut some years ago. I guess it was 2 years ago, when they also had the series of layoffs, and then they decided to work with AI, mostly also HR related team, and then they had the series of crises related to these layoffs and all the stuff related to this. And then a year after, they crafted the separate section on the website related to HR, corporate culture, how to work with people, how not to work with AI. So I guess it's very crucial and very famous example of how a company, they cannot sometimes overcome and use like the FOMO and the trend on the market. So they learned their lessons, a lesson, I guess, related to AI. That's why they are now quite often using their comms all the narratives related to real people, not AI. So AI can support real people, not replace them. So it's quite interesting.
Interesting. Makes sense. Yeah, yeah. It seems like so many founders now just sort of put their feet in their mouth, right? Just say AI will help us do this, but they don't think about the consequences and about how the company is perceiving the market. I know that also there seems to be, at least in a lot of corners here in the US, some negative sentiment towards companies that tend to use AI as a shield to do all these kind of things. So maybe coaching them on what to say and what not to say would be useful.
Maybe, but I know that now it's very difficult also sometimes to work with AI because the systems are always learning, and we cannot, for example, guarantee the results specifically even with LLMs because it depends on the services, on AI services which provide the statistics, the data, etc. And I think that. No need just to be afraid of AI. It's crucial to use it, but with like the personal approach and people's approach. So, for
Yeah.
example, ask him to do the research and then check and also update it, for example, or
Mm.
craft the presentation by yourself. I mean, like the structure of it, and then ask him to do the design for this presentation. So it will be effective for people, and it will also have like the AI perspective and also a real side and real people in the company. So we do
Oh,
such stuff on PR side.
yeah, yeah. Um, uh, 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 Speaking of PR, I would love to get into your journey as well. I know that you joined your company in 2020 without a lot of experience in finance, and now you're the head of PR. How did you achieve that significant growth over 6 years now? I guess to go from again somebody who didn't quite know fintech in that space to then becoming the head of PR for a fintech specific comms company
And making it all the way to the FinTech newscast. That's
and making all
quite an
yeah,
accomplishment.
pretty cool.
That is an
Full your
accomplishment.
career.
Yes, you've
Thank you
reached the
so
top.
much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it because I just talked to Steve also and mentioned that I've been looking for a podcast around 6 years for now. Six. Wow. So yeah, and it's great to be like the part of it today. So yeah, if we speak about personal journey, yeah, and I entered in 2020, and I just got interested how much Bitcoin cost during this period of time. It was just $10,000. So it's
Wow.
wow how it grows from this period of time. Yeah, and then I guess that the key success point why I can go from the lowest position in the company to the highest one for now, because I was always open for learning and I always have like practical tasks to do so. So, for example, I have like the series of cases when I know nothing about DeFi or finance at all, and then I just wake up in the morning and see that my client has like the huge crisis with a lot of publication media outlets, tier one, tier two media outlets, and the news were everywhere. So all in all, you have to adapt to this, and so you have to learn how to work with this. And also, I guess that maybe our clients also they educate us because they quite often share some like challenges with us, which we need to hold on and need to overcome to achieve the results. And it was very awful, very often during my career at the start specifically. so so yeah.
No.
I did want to ask you, and I've been bouncing this back and forth, but since you just started the Women Leading the Way podcast, we bounce back and forth when we have a woman leader as our guest, whether to ask them about their experience and if there's something different or advice for women, or not mentioning it at all and kind of normalizing that this is just a competent person and it's not important that it's a woman or a man, and so not bringing it up so that people see that and they just see questions about accomplishing and doing what you do well. I guess you have a Women Leading the Way podcast, so I think I know what you're going to say, but please, what which side do you lean on? for us?
To tell the truth, we have not only podcast. We launched Women Leading the Way just 2 years ago, and it's much more than about like some stories on the internet. It's about the place and the platform where women can be heard, where they can share their ideas, share their experience in the field. Because I already talked around with around 300 female leaders in the space, and
Wow.
90% of them, they always mention that they have some stuff, some not like positive stuff related to that they are female leaders, and also they had experience, for example, going to different events where they were like the one leader, the one women in the room. So and everyone just like male representatives.
For
So
tech? Yeah, very often.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I also were at Ethereum CC, as I mentioned, in March this year, and I also attended the event where I was just alone, like the female leader in the space.
You were
So
not
yeah,
alone. You were one of many competent,
yeah,
capable, confident people.
yeah,
Should I go
and
that way or no? I don't know.
that's
Yeah.
why, to tell the truth, that's why we opened this project, because we understand that it's crucial to create the space where women can, as I mentioned, share their experience with each other, their problems, how their challenges, how they would like to overcome this. And we see a huge amount of women who are interested in this topic, and we have the series of feedback from our female leaders who are on our network.
Wow.
They mentioned that they are very pleased that they have this space where they found their new friends, partners, clients, so
Yeah.
investors, and that's great, because I understand that it's very important project which support like social responsibility for our financial market, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, huge demand for this one. So, and I appreciate this, and I'm also very pleased that we launched this, and I also feel very supportive and thankful for our team who make this happen just a few years ago.
So the question, should I when I have women guests, should I bring up that their experience, or just treat them, not bring up gender at all, and just say this is just a great person?
I think that many female leaders, they like to talk about this topic because they would like to share their story.
Oh,
Because
Yeah, yeah. Well, for the
every
benefit of
leader.
others,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
we often we frame it as what advice would you give, or what mistakes do you see other women making as they're going up?
I think that
Um,
advice should be related to always remember who you are and always stay confident, and not try to think that you are not a man. That's why you cannot achieve like huge results, etc. Because I can see that in the
because
industry now
I'm a
it's
man, and often I don't get promoted and don't get good results. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And also many leaders in the space. We can see much more leaders in the space now, because I remember that in 2020 it was when you, for example, came to different events, you can see just one, two female representatives, and for example, this year we can see already down 50 or 40 female leaders. So it's quite great. We can see like the industry is growing, and it's quite good.
yeah, yeah. For the benefit of the industry,
Yeah.
more perspective, better products, better life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always bring it up, John. Always bring it up. Wow.
Yeah.
You will be famous when you bring this topic up.
Well, when I put your name on the podcast now, we're gonna finally break through here.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Some really good insights, some great advice, and we continued success to be the what was it? The senior head of PR next time. I don't know.
It
But
was it was my previous title, so I was senior head
yeah.
of PR. Yeah.
Yeah. You keep moving up the ranks there.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah. Great.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alina.
That's Alina Sysoeva, the head of PR at Drofa Comms. Please hit subscribe to keep up with the latest in fintech news, and thank you for listening.